Thanks for being there. Fighting terrorism and violent extremism is quite a challenge, and basically what the government is doing, a lot of persons are saying that, well, they need to step up, and looking at the service chiefs and the amount of days being spent in office, a lot of persons are also saying, well, what is the result coming in? Is it encouraging? And how should the federal government step this issue of security up? Well, discussing this with me, I still have the presence of Tony Abolo, who is a media consultant and veteran journalist, and also have the presence of Adele Alile Osaitin, a public affairs analyst. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
All right, well, we have this challenge, Saitin Alile, of the 23 students that were abducted by criminals or the abductors on the 20th of April. And we have issue where even at present they are saying that by the time this day runs out and the state government fails to pay ransom of 100 million and the family members, they were threatening to kill the remaining 17 students, out of which 5 and also a staff already been killed. What do you make of this sad development?
Well, thank you for having me. So I want to, I'm privileged to be with you here.
Thank you.
I want to say that it's unfortunate, you understand? It's unfortunate because how can bandit in your house, you know, taking your chance, still living in your house and asking you, if you don't give me this, you will not take what I have taken from your house. What am I trying to say? Does it mean that the government does not have the geographical knowledge of this country? You see people coming to our country, a sovereign country, and taking what belongs to us, and still believing in our country, and still be asking us ransom. So what do you expect when government started paying ransom to kidnapping or to bandits? You know, that's what you get. Because our government, to me, they are not doing enough. The security agencies must up their game. These people are not beyond us. They're not beyond our security apparatus. We must, with sincerity, we are not fighting this thing with sincerity. We're not fighting with all the political will we have. A group of people go into a school, kidnapping students, not once, not twice, not thrice, and now they are telling us it's a dent on our image as a country for people coming to our nation or into a state and kidnapping students and telling us to our face that if you don't pay ransom 100 million. I also heard in the news that the parents have paid 55 million, and they said they use 55 million to feed them, and they are also requesting for bike, 10, 12 bikes. 10. What are they using the bike for? To move within our own territory. You know, telling us, I think with the government is, to me, is unfortunate.
Okay, the governor of Kaduna State,
yes.
Nasir El-Rufai, did say that he wouldn't subscribe to paying ransoms, and also the aspect of even if it happens that any of his family member is being abducted, he would not pay any ransom. Do you think this is coming out as a result of that statement? And what do you make of this development, Tony?
It's coming more out of, I guess it's some frustration. Frustration, deep frustration. Because remember, we are told, was it 4, 5 or so years ago, he took Nigeria's money to go and negotiate with the Fulani headsmen somewhere. We don't know whether it was outside in Chad or it was in Niger, but at least, or it was inside the country. But he moved with something like 60 million. And it's like, I've given you money. What else are you looking for? And you are not agreeing to leave your bad ways. So I think it's out of frustration. And it's also seeing what has been the results in Katsina. What has been the result in Sokoto? What has been the result in Borno? The more you give, the more they are emboldened to keep asking for. So he's now feeling that, look, let's go back, call it the universal approach, which is that you don't negotiate with bandits. Rather, you deal with them with the force of state, the force of coercion which the state has. And like Lila was just talking, there is no sincerity. Because if there is sincerity, by now, Is this what we should be discussing in Nigeria? We're not discussing, oh, we're going to the moon, or we're going under the earth, where there's a new
landmark achievement.
Something about that, solar
power
power,
the country.
then so many people are employed. No, we're not talking anything positive. But we spend the last 5 years talking about cow, ruga, banditry, killing, ransom. No, it's gotten out of hand. And again, they have not even made it a national affair, which is the pity. Maybe that's why I see you twitch your eyes. It's not a national affair. No. You see, we talk about it because in the sense that we're inside Nigeria, maybe we're in the media. When I say it's a Nigerian affair, because right now you don't know is it a federal government issue? Is it a Muslim issue? Is it a Fulani issue? Or is it a Nigerian issue? You must separate these things. When you move it to become a Nigerian issue, all of us will begin to talk about one primary thing, national security architecture. At that point, you discuss it vigorously. Because if you hear some details from some former military men, their own bitterness about what is going on, then you just give up. I read something from I've forgotten the name now, but even Colonel Nyam has even made a statement, and you find Labo has also made a statement. Stan Labo, who is an expert in security matters. Everybody's talking, and you get very frustrated that the soldiers, even now the new service chiefs, they have come to the point that they are neither equipped nor do they have the manpower. That they are outnumbered. And that what you need now, in fact, this recommendation by a military personnel, is that you need about 500,000 boots on the ground. That you must overwhelm the enemy. And we don't have the number. And look at what
we don't have the number.
We don't have the numbers. They're all dispersed, fighting unimportant wars. You are there in the east, fighting ESN and IPOP. You are there in Niger Delta, fighting bandits.
Which is like an epicenter of bandits anyway.
No, maybe it started from there. Then you are in Zamfara. Then you are in Lagos, Igboho, and all that. So when you disperse them, and they're saying people should also look at strategy. Why does the army not move back into defending the territory of the country and empower the police? That, in fact, they are suspicious about the number of soldiers, of policemen, because you have more policemen guarding VIPs than protecting Nigerians. And what is the ratio? The ratio is a number that I think it's 1 to 24,000 or something like that, which is ridiculous. So you find that in terms of policing, we're under policed. In terms of military might, we are undercapacitated, to defend the territory.
Okay, the way it is now, because we have the other 17 students of the Greenfield University still crying out for release, to be rescued. Now, at present, we have the challenge of the state government saying that it's not going to pay ransom. And their family members, though, brought 55 million, like you said, which is also in reports, yet they call that feeding money. So which means a fresh 100 million is needed and 10 motorbikes needed. Will you see this, because lives are involved, will you see this as weakness in the part of government if it should negotiate with the bandits?
Well, the negotiation, does this incident started today? Does it start today? Is it the first? Is it the second? It's not the third. I think that the government should deploy technology. Negotiating with bandits, to me, is not an option.
Don't forget, ours are taken away.
Yes.
Because even the bandits are saying that after by the end of today.
Let me tell you, when that money is that money is provided, they will not
Aren't you worried about that?
They won't release them. They won't release them. Before Erufai start to say, I will not pay ransom, you know what he's saying. The information that are available to government or to those in power, you'll be surprised.
So by that you are saying that the government should risk the lives of these
students?
See,
there are options. The other day, America came to this country and rescued their citizens. There are options. Our government are not sincere, or the security apparatus are handicapped because of things that are happening over there. There are so many things that are happening in government. Even the security agencies, they are afraid to act.
afraid or compromise.
Compromise. You understand? So it's deeper than what we see.
Okay,
you understand?
I'll come back to you. I ask you the same question because this is a drastic moment.
I know.
Now the lives of the remaining 17 students seem to be in critical jeopardy.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you advise the government?
You know, it's like they gave you blood. You could see they're baying for blood. So they threw dead bodies, and so you now see that there are bodies. And so they want to let you know that they mean business.
Yes.
I like, at this critical point, and don't forget that even that school, there are all sorts of things that are stories that are common. It's a private school owned by an Igbo man, right there in Kaduna State. And it was supposed to be one of these high-placed schools. Now, I'm sure the better thing is maybe the money should be provided to save the other lives.
Yes.
While there is a concerted effort to form a new strategy. Technology, like he said, ought to be deployed. Where did they take them to? It's not hidden. If you go on with what they call it, a drone.
Drone, yeah, yes.
With a drone, you'll be able,
With private persons, if you have.
Yes. Of course. So, of course. And there are people with different kind of apps. And they're phony.
Yes.
They're talking.
Yes.
So you can still track them down.
Yes.
The technology of GPS, drone, and everything can be deployed. So they're making it sound as if there's something. I mean, it's like rocket science now. So they can even ask for sudden help. Even if it means going to Israel. That is if they're serious. Even if it's going to America. Ask America, Israel, somebody, fly in, pick these children. That is all the bandits. Pull them out, pick the children, and bring them out. And then show that the state is concerned and the state has power. And when you do that, I'm sure this matter will end. And then the bandits will not dare again to come and pick up students from schools. And you form a new kind of strategy to deal with this securing northern schools. Because that has been the issue now. Because sooner or later, education will be destroyed in the north.
Okay, thank you. Well, we hear about issues even in Niger State, which seem to be the epicenter of these bandits, where even some communities allegedly are really paying to the terrorists, the bandits, just to have a safe haven in their own communities. Now, this is like paying taxes, just like paying taxes to government. Now we're having another small government within the government. Now, what do you make of this? Because this is a challenge.
So do you know that the distance between Niger State and Abuja is not to 2 hours? When you are traveling by car, it's not to 2 hours. That is Niger State to the capital of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Bandits taking communities close to
the FCT.
FCT. What do you make of that? It means that there are some persons within the government that want to destabilize the country. Because you cannot, when the federal government will send troops to the east to fight the ASN, to fight the Apple, and these are citizens of the various states. So why can't they do same thing with Niger State? Now, we've not heard of federal government deploying troops to Niger State, deploying troops to those communities in Niger State. What are they doing? So the truth of the matter, we have the capacity to fight this war.
Okay.
But the sincerity is not there.
Okay,
the political will is not there. You understand? So the truth of even the governors should be involved, should be empowered to secure their states.
Okay, we read about on the headlines today,
yeah,
where even Robert Clark was saying that he is swearing on his father's grave that in 6 months, this whole activity is called collapse the country.
Yes.
I think that's a sad narrative.
No, sad narrative.
But
logical conclusion.
Okay, but let's look at this way. What do you think the government should be doing that it's not doing in terms of saving this ugly incident from occurring?
People are thinking that maybe the government itself is complicit in allowing this disintegration. Maybe it serves their purpose. Because if you want to salvage the situation, you would have done it over 4 or 5 years ago.
Over 4 or 5 years ago.
Not just now. Like he said, how do you get troops to move to Owerri and fighting? Yet you can't move into Niger State, which is next door. And after all, you have all sorts of, from Kaduna, Abuja, if you move the troops, First Division, mechanized, Air Force, everybody is all there.
Okay.
State of the federal government, brigade of guards, they're all there.
But don't forget you said that we are short of personnel.
I agree. But right now, there is an emergency. Because sometimes you ask yourself, how did they move and get into Niger? Where did they come from?
The borders, of course. The border seems to be loosed.
Okay, let's agree that maybe they passed through the edge of the country and suddenly moved into Niger State. Now, I don't know whether it is that their intent is to move into Abuja itself. Because by the time they move into Abuja, what is left of the federal government? I think, the federal government will collapse. And maybe, like, that is why people are looking at the scenario that even the projection of Clark, if you read it, well, it's like apocalyptic.
No, we don't pray for that anyway.
It is not about prayer, Phil, because sometimes we just pray. If you wanted to avoid this, we would have avoided it. Don't we have people in the house?
Are you saying by this that the future is gloomy?
Gloomy? It will be a logical conclusion. How did Somalia begin? How did Yemen begin?
It was Sudan, Iraq.
Sudan, Iraq. So, because sometimes we just wake up, imagine that, oh, it can't happen. This is how they all began. And we will, what of Mauritania before now? So we are almost inching there. You hear Venezuela, Guatemala. And these are the things you want your country not to be in. But it pleases those who are in government that this is where they wish. I think I want to say they wish for themselves. Because it's not, you can't wish us evil. What have we done? We want this country to work. And we want it to be for everybody. And Clark is now even suggesting that the rate we are going, it's like there is a game plan to either break the country and give us 6 different countries, or you are going to have a kind of a strong armed government in which all the legislative arms may disappear. And that's going to be a new structure.
But that can come without a war.
No, it can come without a war.
Okay.
It can come without a war. After all, when people talk about restructuring is an organized, call it, pardon me, in inverted commas, organized disintegration, rather than going into a war. Like they say, it's better to Georgia than to war. Restructuring is Georgia rather than war.
Okay, are you saying that that's an option that the government should be looking into?
Look, where we are now, if you want to save whatever anybody used to call Nigeria, you just must head on and restructure immediately. Because it will diffuse, just like in the other segment, we're talking about devolution. You devolve powers to the states and things begin to work differently. If you do the restructuring, it's a technical devolution as well. And then you will now begin to see that the country begins to function differently. Aggression at the center will go away. Hatred and enmity, ethnic tensions will all begin to simmer down. And then we'll now have a different country. But they are not willing. So we may be forced. Those same people who are not talking now, apart from
when you say they are not willing, do you mean government? Or what do you mean they are not willing? Okay.
Nigerians. Okay, Mbazulika Amechi was the first republic minister, very elderly, and I think he's 80-something. He tries to speak, but what does an old man like that, does he even have a strong voice that can be listened to in the East? Adebanjo is speaking. I hope they are listening to him. FFK is speaking. Those are the kind of voices you need all around. And that's why when I see these voices speaking, I feel very sad that in Edo State, who speaks? Nobody's talking. We may murmur and complain in our little beer parlors and eating joints and all that, but you need a strong voice that says, okay, come to think of it, it just occurs to me, Don Pedro Obaseki has been speaking, calling for a Midwest. That is, so that's another strong voice. But we need to join him and make it a loud voice that this is where we stand. Nobody can tell you where we stand. But if we came around him, then that's going to be a new voice. Then you hope that people in the South can have a voice. Because see, we're just waiting to be mowed down.
Okay.
And that will be tragic.
Oh, some say that, well, if we are to look inwards and look at the security votes available to governors, and we've been speaking about sincerity of purpose, and if this is really taken into action, as in put the money aside for security as it should be, that these whole issues about insecurity will douse
yes,
this.
before, let me quickly,
But do you concur? And what's your opinion on that?
Before I come to that, let me quickly comment on what Abba Clark said.
Okay.
You know, when people like that speaks, they speak based on their information available to them. You understand? And the information available to him is what spurred him to speak that way. And why is he speaking that way? For those people in authority to know that this thing is serious. You understand? It's not a child's play. If the care is not taken in 6 months, we will not be speaking like this. So I think that is what is the government should know, that if people like this speaks, they should be on their toes. You know, when it comes to governance, you know, security vote, like I said before, the issue of security should be placed on the hands of the governors in their various states. Okay. So each governor knows how to secure his own state.
Isn't that why we have security votes? And shouldn't the security votes
that is what we
be deployed the way it should be?
When I said the government is not sincere, I'm not saying federal government. It's a holistic thing. Both the state governors, the federal government, now even the local government. The local government is supposed to play a very great role in security, because that's the closest here to the people. But the local government has been taken away by the governors. So the governors, if they are sincere with the security vote they have and the manpower we have in our various states, we can secure our state. Okay. Because these bandits that are coming, if in my area now a strange face came, I will know. People in that environment will know. So with the government, the various government need to empower their citizens. And apart from that, we're also looking at, then we're talking about the issue of labor, the issue of welfare of the workers. So all this also boils down to the welfare of the people. You know, the people that is not well educated, the people that are jobless, the people that can't feed a day, they can assimilate anything. Okay. And go out and now let me also say this: the bandits, the terrorists, have we defined them? The heads, the criminal headsmen. Yes, have we defined them? Do we have how to deal with the headsmen or the criminal headsmen? The criminal headsmen. To me, there's nothing like headsmen. We have criminals. If we begin to say criminal, headsmen has been with us for ages. They are criminals, disguising as headsmen. So have we defined them? Do we have intelligent report about these people? So if we have intelligent report about these people, and the security agencies follow these intelligent reports from the beginning till now, I don't think we'll be having this problem.
We have vigilante networks, and even the security summit in the East that brought about the proposed Bubagu. Now, sincerity of purpose comes in again. We look at the security votes from these states put together monthly. Don't you think that's a way out?
Well, for a start, even the security vote issue, it's one of those things we seem to be just playing up without a careful study. All right. And I will tell you, because I did some little research into it, and you find that it started in the military days. Yeah. Around when Babangida was in office. Era. And it wasn't as humongous as it is now. Now,
also, who made it humongous?
Oh, who made it? Well, let's leave that alone. Maybe the politicians did. But in any case, now, whatever it is that they're doing, there was an anticipation of what the security votes were meant for. By and large, it was meant for security, for information on intelligence gathering. Okay. So the security agencies are alerted before any crime occurs. Okay. So nobody anticipated this explosion of headsmen. Now that you want to give an adjective to them, criminal headsmen, bandits, and all of that. Nobody anticipated that. Because you move from that little circle of protecting your environment to when you are now looking at what goes into police and military, right? And even then, like I was explaining before, we ought to even make a separation. The military ought to go to secure the territory, not in the duties that they're doing now. They are now being made. They're not functioning the way they ought to function as military. I mean, you shouldn't see a soldier. I mean, we grew up in this country. I mean, you rarely saw a soldier. Even for you to go to the barracks, you had a sense of awe. But today, they're all over the whole place. and they're fraternizing with you, and it ought not to be. And then that's why you see the people you should be seeing is the police, and that's why they say the police is your friend. So, because they are the people you see every day. Yes. And now, now that we've moved into this area, we now have to look, how do we now defend the territory? You talked about Ibubagu, and you talked about the neighborhood. No, what do we call it? Vigilante
groups, the network.
Now, the vigilante ought to be intricately webbed with the communities. Yeah. Sometimes you just see them around the ring road, you know, dressed, and we don't even know whether there was any profiling before they even got recruited.
Yes.
Which is a bit dangerous. We've complained that with the police. There's a problem. Who we have got into the police. Now we're getting people who, in the name of we are afraid, we now get people into the vigilante. But for all it is worth, they ought to be webbed with the community.
But don't forget that came up as a result of the unexpected issues over the answers, what tailed in that
the security vote is now being used for this. So it is also been serving a good purpose. But we are saying that the vigilante ought to be merged with the community, and we work with them hand in hand in terms of information, in terms of, if need be, like look at what they're doing in Ekiti and all that. Alafin also is calling for native doctors. They're in Alafin of Oyo is calling for native doctors.
Just to tackle this.
To tackle this, and also, and there was a story I had, true or false, they said in Kwale, a few days back, where they were looking after their cows. Lightning came, and I think 12 cows died immediately. And all to a man, they took off. So maybe we need to use native
spiritual beings.
You call them spiritual, esoteric. Everything has to be thrown into this to be able to overcome where we are now, because this is, like they say in pidgin English, this don't pass, be careful.
Don't pass, be careful.
so we ought to looking at the Bubango, one hopes that because I saw in the headlines yesterday, the Ahanese is calling for a meeting between IPOP, ESN, and the Bubango. They need to come.
The proscribed pro-Biafra group, you mean?
Proscribed. Proscribed. Don't you see it on the headline? What's proscribed? No, see, let's all deal with what is factual. The people should be proscribed. We're not proscribed. And you prescribe those who are civilians. That's a different ballgame. But the truth is, whatever adjective you want to put, as far as I'm concerned, they want to hold a meeting with them and harmonize, because it is in the interest of the Igbos. Because it will not be good. Somebody fractionalizes them, and then it makes it difficult or rather make it easy for the enemy to penetrate. Because if they are protected, remember, they are next door neighbor. If you bust through them, you are coming here. It's like if you bust through Okene, you are here. If you bust through Ekiti, you are here. So we need a total coverage.
Okay.
Total coverage of all the weather vigilante, all sorts of things. But again, look at cost of governance now. You ought to be doing something more serious. But we're not pouring all that money
on security.
On security. Okay. Sad.
Let's look at this whole issue about the new service chiefs. And we understand that 100 days in office usually marked by public office holders globally to set out their achievements. Now it's been 96 days thereabout of the service chiefs. And we have a huge number of people being killed as a result of terrorists, groups, banditry. What do you make of this in terms of the new service chiefs?
You see,
do you think there's something lacking that they are not really equipped with?
I was of the opinion, I was one of those people who say that change of service chiefs will not change anything, because we are all living in the same system.
Really?
If there's anything wrong with the system, no matter the change of names, it will not work. So we need an holistic approach to the security challenges. Forgetting the change of service chiefs, we need, the system is not working. The system must work. Government must pump money into the system, into the security system of our country.
Otherwise,
technology.
The won't be able to do anything.
No, see, for example, if you are the general manager of this station, and another person comes in, and you are the new general manager, and there's no camera, there's nothing in the studio. What will you do? You use your money to buy a camera? If the management,
my hands will be tied.
Your hands will use your money to buy the camera or to buy the computers. If the management, the system, that what control the system does not provide these things, well, see, you need your intellect, your intelligence to make use of these things. So if these things are not there, what will you just begin to use somebody's blood? No. So if the government does not provide what is necessary to fight these challenges, that was what Clark was saying. What is needed to fight if they don't provide it, we will see ourselves in a very strange situation. So to me, the change of service chiefs, where it can be a starting point, but it's not the solution. You understand? The government must be sincere to provide. We need technology.
Or maybe asking for foreign assistance.
Well,
like,
sir, let me tell you sincerely, Nigeria will have the capacity to deal with this issue.
Without asking for foreign assistance.
Without asking for foreign mercenaries. We have the human resources. We have even the financial resources. We have it. It's that we have criminals in government. People who are self-centered. We don't have patriotic people.
But if you say criminals in government,
every day you see they are probing harm these. Every day they are probing harm these. Every day they are telling me this thing. This is what I'm saying now. It's not from me. It's from what we heard from the media or from the government. People, they are probing harm these. Probing the money that is used to buy arms. Who is stealing those money? Is it my father from here? So the truth of the matter is that we need sincere people in government. People who are that was saying just now that
until the outcome.
See, it was saying just now that we have the Buagu is there, the different security apparatus of different regions. Yeah. Now, this situation, is it regional? Is it a national situation? Or is it just a state situation? So everybody is talking about his own region. Everybody is talking about his own state. Nobody is talking about Nigeria. We must come together as one.
Okay, thank you.
To deal with this issue.
Thank you very much. I take that as your concluding statement.
I will take it from maybe a doctrine and a strategy point of view, while also aligning with Alile. And I did allude to that. Is it a national problem? Or is it a sectional problem? Is it a religious problem? All those are the things we must define. So we now know what we are going to face. Now, people have said, you need the military to be in charge. Because one of the things that those who are internal will tell you, the politicians seem to be dictating the pace for the military. All in the name of getting the military to be subservient to a political leadership. Now, if the military gathers the intelligence, tells you the strategy, you ought to back them to the hilt so that they deliver.
Okay.
But when you don't back them to the hilt, don't put any blame on anybody. And in terms of strategy, people are even saying, and it's also a wise thing, then when you now have, to use even the word you've used constantly, the epicenter. Now, when you're looking at even this banditry and insurgency, where should we be placing? People that getting soldiers, having their headquarters in Maiduguri is silly. Tactically, you ought to place yourself in Sambisa or at the shores of Lake Chad. Then when you are there, the enemy now knows that, look, this is a strong Nigerian presence.
There will be a threat to them.
There will be a threat to them, and then you now know that you don't run miles to come and meet the enemy.
So that's a drastic measure to take.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So that's why I said I want to look at it from a doctrine and a strategy point of view. If we do it, we'll get somewhere.
Thank you so much. Big thanks to you, Tony Abolo, for taking our time in spite of your busy schedule. And big thanks, Osaiti Adele Alile.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks. Well, there's much we can take on the discussion.